last summer there was been a bit of crossfire between you and Megadeth management regarding that tour that never happened. So I was wondering, is it
Yep.
still hard feelings between you guys, or it was all solved by now?
I have no hard feelings. If they want to, if they have hard feelings, that is completely their prerogative. But on my end, I'm cool. I have no problem. I don't want to have any problems with anybody,
Yeah.
and I don't hold grudges. I'd like to say whatever I need to say and get over it.
Hmm. Do you think that maybe the
Holding on
media
to
use the story just to make it more polemic in some sort of way?
um, in some ways, yes, but in other ways, um, no. I think like I know that Dave Mustaine went on his Twitter and just exploded about us when all that stuff happened. He was saying a lot of crazy shit on his Twitter, and that was not the media fueling that. That was straight from his computer or cell phone, you know?
Yeah. So Steve Vetz is almost in charge of everything on this album regarding to production, engineering, and mixing. So you recorded with him in there in California. He did all the job there. So why him? I mean, what made you choose and say, okay, this is gonna be the guy who's gonna be in charge of everything?
Uh, Century Media sent us a list of a few guys' names that they thought might be good fit for doing our record, and we listened to Steve Evans' stuff, and we all thought it sounded really good. So, big thing that we were looking for was natural drum sound. You know, not using a bunch of triggers and stuff. And
Right.
all of his records sound very real on the drums. So, and that was a huge factor for it.
Great. So before you mentioned that maybe not every fan of Havok will love this album as this album is very diverse. You also do very diverse tours. For example, there in the US, you are going to tour with, for example, Suicide Tendencies or Crowbar, right? So which are not your average thrash metal bands. So do you think that this actually empowers what you guys do going on tour with bands so different from you?
Yeah, of course. It's great because you get to play in front of people that would normally not ever go see your band. And a lot of them, you know, discover your band, and if they enjoy it, they'll come back and see you when you headline. So it's great. I love playing with other kinds of bands. It keeps it interesting for the audience and for the people on the tour.
Great. So there is 10 songs on the normal edition of the album. Then you had those which is normal, no bonus tracks and everything. But I mean, was this recording session very productive in the means that besides all the bonus tracks that you have, maybe you have saved some more songs there to use it later or just to store?
We could have made the record shorter, but we all felt that every song was strong and deserved to be on the actual recording.
Great. So one of the strongest points, well, me the last time I saw you guys was on Hellfest, which was madness. So one of the strongest points
Yeah.
there for you guys is live, you playing live. So would you say that maybe recording is a bit boring, that you prefer just to go on tour, or is recording sessions an essential part of Havok as well?
Recording is a lot more rare, um, and it's fun to be able to experiment with tones and experiment with playing things different ways and stuff like that. I like the studio. I like recording, but you can't make a living out of recording unless you're like a studio musician, which we are not. We're live musicians. What we do is we go out and perform live in front of people, and I much prefer playing live than just about everything else in the world. I like watching people get excited, and I like playing music, and I like to yell,
Hmm.
and it's a good release for me. And it's just really fun to watch people get excited and get happy,
Hmm.
and get people to scream their lungs out, and shove people around and stage dive and all that stuff. It's really really fun.
Amazing. So, you mentioned also that, as I said before, this is a very varied album. But does it ever happen to you that after doing couple of albums, you come to an idea for a song and then you stop and say, okay, I think I already have done this in the past.
Um, Sometimes I'll catch myself recycling an old idea, but I'll try to put a new spin on it to make it not reminiscent of the older version. And I mean, I think everyone probably does that a little bit, because otherwise that's how you develop your own style.
Yeah,
People will reuse some of the same ideas, and that's part of what defines their sound.
great. Well, if you ask to the veterans, so-called veterans on the thrash metal, normally those bands that are being around for, I don't know, 20 or 30 years, um, they always told you that they just keep listening the music they were listening when they were young. So they were actually listening just classic bands. So I was wondering, for you in your case, do you still check new bands to see how is it going, or you just keep to your classical bands?
Well, I listen to a lot of bands, and a lot of different genres of music. As far as metal goes, I don't keep up with it as much as I used to. I find myself listening to a lot of progressive music, a lot of like fusion, jazz, classical music, old funk, old like classic, new wave British heavy metal bands,
Yeah.
and yeah, I find myself discovering old music that I didn't know existed a lot more than listening to new stuff.
Oh,
The thing that's so difficult with new stuff is, I mean, there's so much of it, and to sift through to find out what's good and bad takes a lot of time. But I enjoy watching bands live, and that's normally how I'll discover newer bands and decide if I like them or not. But probably my favorite newer band at the moment that's a metal band is Power Trip
oh
from
yeah,
Texas.
yeah, yeah. They are
I
doing
really like
an
their
European
music,
tour as well. Yeah.
all heavy all the time.
Good. So, as you mentioned now that you listen to a lot of genres and different bands, I was wondering, now that you have that taste for different kind of music, does Havok provides you with everything you need music wise? I mean, have you ever made a song that you think, okay, this is not appropriate for Havok?
No, that's not happened yet, but I do want to write other types of songs
Yeah.
that are not suited for Havok at all. And I'd like to, be a songwriter and sell them to artists, sell, love songs and stuff to other artists to sing. Just because I feel like songwriting is something I'm pretty good at. So I would like to do that in the future, but as of now, no, I've never written a song that's not suited for Havok, because Havok is my life, and it's what I've spent the last 13 years doing,
Yeah.
and it keeps busy. So
Right.
all I've ever done is written stuff that is suited for Havok and is heavy and going to make this band go forward. But
Hmm.
eventually, someday, when we have more time off the road and you know uh, things in the Havok world are not as busy and grueling, I would
Hmm.
love to write songs that are not for Havok and sell them.
Good. Right. Almost, well, it was
Oh,
last.
but on a side note,
Yeah.
you're asking me if Havok allows me to be fulfilled
Yeah.
with all the other genres I listen to. I would say For the most part, yes, because we get in this band, everyone gets to shine, and like I like to take our funk influence and our jazz influence and our progressive rock influence and all these things, and classical music, and I like to take all those ideas that are given from those genres and put them into our own like style.
Yeah.
A lot of people wouldn't think that they like funk, but if they like the song FBC, well, sorry, dude, I guarantee you would like some funk bands, even if you don't think you do.
And it's the first song of the album, actually.
Yeah, of course. And there's a lot of things like, we incorporate punk rock into our stuff. There's some jazz in our music. There's a whole lot of flavors that we get to throw into Havok and make it into a heavy song, which I love, Yeah. I'm able to sneak in influences of kinds of music that people normally probably wouldn't consider that they actually liked and enjoyed.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, I have no issue. I still love Megadeth. I still enjoy the music and don't wish any ill will towards anybody. That can't, not at all.
Okay. Well, you are coming back to Spain this same month, at the end of the month. You're playing with Warbringer, Gorod, and Ex Mortals. Is it you becoming harder and harder to do a set list for each tour? Like, I mean, do you care about what you played last tour and what you're gonna play on this new tour? That kind of stuff?
No, it's not harder. It's we just have more stuff to choose from. So it's good. On this tour, we've been playing the whole entire first half of Time Is Up record.
Yeah.
And that's been going over really well with people. And, we play almost half of the new record as well. And throw in a couple other songs. And it's good. It's got a good flow to it and high energy.
Yeah. Great. Well, man, just to finish the interview, I want to ask you, why do you think Havok went so popular between metal fans in so little time? I mean, as you said before, there's tons and tons of bands coming out each day. Why Havok? Why do you think it is?
Why Havok is successful?
I mean, yeah, in so little time, why do you think that so many people were attracted by your music?
That's a good question. I would hope that it has something to do with the music. Like hopefully we write good songs, and if people are listening to the lyrics, I'm hoping that they're actually meaningful and people can connect to them, because we're not singing about Satan and we're not singing about pizza and beer. We're singing about real life and stuff that I'm passionate about, and hopefully it gets under other people's skin as well. So I don't know, maybe it's partially the lyrics, partially the music. I would hope that.